It was a Saturday evening, one of those nights that starts warm and easy, filled with laughter, chatter, and the soft clinking of glasses, until it turns into something you'll never quite forget. Our living room buzzed with noise and energy. Friends crowded around, drinks in hand, trading stories that bounced from wall to wall. I remember feeling proud, watching my wife Claire command a room effortlessly. She had that kind of charm, magnetic, quick with her humor, perfectly playful. Then she said it, a joke, harmless to everyone else. But to me, it sliced clean through the moment. Someone had brought up the topic of trust in marriage, teasingly asking how we managed it. Claire, without a pause, laughed and said, "Oh, if I ever cheat, it'd probably be with Jake." The room burst into laughter. Everyone except me. Jake, my best friend since college, gave an awkward chuckle and took another sip of his beer. But I could feel it. The air shift, the sudden stillness underneath the noise. Behind all the laughter, I heard something else, the faint crack inside my chest. I forced a smile, pretended to play along, but something inside me had already changed. She wasn't done. She laughed again, doubling down. "At least I'd pick someone he trusts," she added. The crowd roared even louder this time, as if mocking the very thing I valued most. I laughed, too, just enough to keep things smooth. But my silence afterward said more than any confrontation could. Hours later, the party dwindled. Friends trickled out, their laughter fading down the hallway, leaving behind an empty quiet. I stood at the sink rinsing glasses, watching red wine swirl down the drain, slow and dark, like trust bleeding out. Claire came up behind me, her arms slipping loosely around my waist. "Hey," she murmured lightly. "You know I was just kidding, right?" I didn't turn. "Yeah," I said softly. A real crowd pleaser. She hesitated, waiting for me to laugh it off. But I didn't. The silence between us grew heavy, too heavy to name. The next morning, she acted as if nothing had happened. The smell of coffee filled the kitchen, sunlight streamed to the curtains, and she hummed along to a song on her phone, the picture of normalcy. But for me, everything felt slightly tilted, out of place. That night, I met Jake at our usual bar. He looked uncomfortable, guilt flickering behind his eyes. "Man, I didn't mean to laugh," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "It just caught me off guard." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I get it, but you know what's funny?" He glanced up. "She thought it was a joke," I said, quietly, leaning back. "But sometimes a joke becomes the truth people hide behind." He didn't respond, just stared into his drink. And in that moment, I realized something. It wasn't the joke itself that broke me. It was how easily everyone laughed. A week passed. The tension between Claire and me grew thick, invisible but suffocating. She tried to joke like she used to lighten the mood, but her laughter no longer reached me. The trust had drained slowly, like air escaping a punctured tire. One evening at dinner, she finally looked up from her plate and asked, "Are you ever going to let that go?" I set my fork down and met her eyes. "Tell me something," I said. "If I joked about sleeping with one of your friends, would you still be laughing right now?" Her face fell. The spark that used to light up her eyes dimmed. "You're overreacting," she whispered. I shook my head. "No, Claire, I'm just reacting. You cross a line, one you don't even think exists." She didn't speak after that, and the silence that settled between us wasn't awkward anymore. It was final. That night, I packed a small bag and left. No yelling, no argument, no explanations. I just walked out. Sometimes the loudest response is leaving an echo behind. A few days later, she texted me. It was just a joke. "You're really ending everything over that?" I stared at the screen for a long time, then typed back. "You joked about betrayal. I just showed you what the punchline feels like." And that was it. No dramatic ending. No closure. Just a quiet truth. Some laughter doesn't fade.